Bobby, you here again?
Yeah, my doctor told me to reduce stress at work, so I come to Buffalo Wild Wings to eat lunch and watch sports. I get to pick one of 7 entrees, like sandwiches and salads, plus one of 7 sides.
Well, I like sides.
It's so affordable I can finally take a vacation.
Where you gonna go?
Here, Tim, here.
Introducing the new B-Dubs Fast Break Lunch Menu, starting at a new low price. Dine in or order takeout weekdays between 11 and 2. Participation and availability may vary. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Hello and welcome to LSD Radio. What you're about to hear is intended for listeners 18 years of age and older. It's for entertainment purposes only. The Bad Habits Network must insist that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any activity described on the show. The podcast may contain lewd, crude, vulgar, sexist, racist, fascist, argumentative, disgusting, appalling, explicit, edgy, and downright offensive language and or subject matter. For individuals easily offended, this may not be the program for you. We recommend turning this off now, cause Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind.
What the fuck? They better be gone after that.
Right?
Fuck those guys. What the fuck?
I'm not sure what Stitch was doing as a guest spot on our show, but he was here and he's gone now.
Well, no, that was actually Stitch's kinky brother, Suture.
Tonight on LSD Radio, we'll be talking about kinky sex games, the Olympic sports you wish you had.
Such as roller fucking.
I'm not even sure how you would do roller fucking. I mean, is it sex on roller skates or is it?
Fuck yeah!
No.
Oh, okay.
While roller skating,
You roller skate just like in Derby, and you score points if you can roll up behind someone and plant your dick in a hole
Oh,
That adds a whole new level of
At
horror
speed.
to it.
at speed,
Someone's getting hurt.
right? Bonsai the brown eye.
absolutely, and it's
That's my
co-ed
name,
because all the
actually.
girls have strap-ons. But anyway,
Well, that puts
Everyone's
up,
armed.
that puts a whole new meaning to coming up on your right.
Yeah.
So, yes, kinky sex games. We're just pretty much going to shoot our mouths off about different things we've done, different things we want to do.
Certain things that would probably get us, arrested and or banned in, 50 states if we actually tried to do.
I wouldn't
right.
say all 50 states. It's hard to get
Most.
banned for doing kinky shit in Kentucky. I mean, they fuck their sisters.
Bullshit.
give those chicken fuckers a chance. But okay, the first thing I see on your list is naked cornhole, and I feel like there's a story and an explanation that I need that I don't already have.
Well,
for once.
naked cornhole was a lot of fun. There were 4 of us, of course, teams of cornhole, and we were, of course, at a clothing optional campground. So, we weren't.
Nobody took the
Let's
option, I'm
take
guessing.
a step back for those less familiar with games of skill. Might you explain what cornhole is for our listeners who don't know what it is?
Oh, you don't need any skill for cornhole. You proved that when you played.
Yep.
Cornhole is those boards that you set up at a slight angle and then throw bean bags at the one hole that's in the middle of it. That's cornhole.
And I laugh every time I see a sale on option for 30% off our cornhole game. And I'm like, does that mean you were too drunk at the time? I mean, what went wrong? Tell us about it, Janet.
That's
So how
only
did you
30%
do
in the cornhole game?
Yeah, how did you do naked cornhole?
Well, the major thing that
It'll
we
shock you. There were people naked playing cornhole.
But somehow I have a funny feeling that because Raven was involved in this, it's much like, Raven's version of horseshoes, which probably involves erect penises. So tell us all about it.
There was actually no erect penises involved in this
Bullshit.
game. But
Maybe on your side of the fence.
Well, yeah, I was the only guy playing at this time. But
Good odds.
a lot of the scorekeeping was done on naked people with mark-making toys. We found it a lot more fun if one of the person is jumping up and down yelling "fuck, fuck, fuck" while their teammate is throwing bean bags at the hole. Not to mention you could shake your jubblies at things, and
Oh, throwing beanbags at the hole of the scoreboard.
Yes, the board, not the other person.
Not their hole.
Not just
No.
throwing beanbags at the wood.
I do have to say that when I was shaking my balls at my opponent from across the way, that they did seem to aim for them. I'm really glad I didn't
surprised.
get bag tagged with one of those beanbags.
Well, it may have just
hurt.
been reflection off your jewelry that blinded them.
They could have.
Could have been.
Let's go ahead and call that a possibility. Although that does remind me of, at one event I was at, I saw something that just tickled the living hell out of me.
Was it a feather?
No. Feathers don't tickle, I need the chicken. But they were playing like a 4-player, I think it was Halo. But they were doing it with a projection instead of a normal TV screen. Mm-hmm. So they had naked women in front of the wall. And I actually, on the way out, heard one guy so proudly announce in all geekery that he had managed to pull off a perfect headshot right through a girl's vagina.
Nice!
And I'm like, now that's the way you play goddamn video games.
Right? I'd love to get a headshot through a vagina without actually having a baby involved.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, that's what it would sound like. Oh, yeah, I got a headshot through a vagina. Oh, your child was born. That's an interesting way to put it. I'll go with Bobcat Goldthwait's. Yeah, me and my wife, we pounded out a daughter. You know, or as I like to call them, the fuck trophies.
Really? They're trophies?
Yes.
In some countries. Some countries are also currency.
Yes.
And also in quite a few religions.
Hey, if I had 2 goats and a cow, I would own a woman. More than I already do.
I was going to say, don't you already?
According to Kim Davis.
Right?
Which required
Buy a couple.
neither a goat nor a cow.
Yes. But I see that you're a fan of the operation.
I am well, I created the operation, and I should be a fan. Although I will freely state, for public record, I was not actually the first asshole that had this idea. Carcass actually was the first asshole that had this idea. I just refined it better. I didn't even know he had thought of it until someone said, oh yeah, that thing you're doing is just like what Carcass did. And then they explained it, and I'm like, but I did it better.
Right? You actually have playing cards and
a full body set up there, so that when we play Operation, we play Operation.
And that fucking well, the pin cushion that you have stuffed with steel wool. That
it's
has
not
to
even
be...
stuffed with steel wool. It is just steel wool with fabric stretched around it and a screw going through it, just to make sure that, and pins, of course, so that if you touch it just wrong, you zap the person. Or
Right.
just right, depending on what you're trying to do.
Honestly, I was always willing to lose my turn just to shove something somewhere that zapped the person. I didn't even need to actually be aiming for the piece that I was trying to get out.
Really, I always try to play the game straight, and then, once I've actually
You
accomplished...
straight?
Yeah. Once I've actually accomplished the goal, then I just sort of keep accidentally touching someone after,
Oops.
Sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh,
Or you
fuck.
turn the violet wand up so high, and you make sure that it's on that they're holding it on the side of the body that you're operating on, so that when you accidentally do, or on purpose do, touch the tool to them, it shocks your hand so hard it makes your hand spasm and shoots the tool underneath the person, consequently shocking them over and over again.
And for anyone listening who has never seen or heard of this Operation game, just to give you the mental visual of this, you have a person stripped naked on a table.
That's important.
Yeah, very important. With metal forms attached to their bodies with medical tape, and then wooden inserts in the metal forms that have to be taken out with metal tools while the individual is hooked up to a body contact for a violet wand, so that you basically get to play Operation full scale. Except mine's a little more perverted than the normal Operation.
Best use of cookie cutters ever.
Ever.
So
Well,
wait, let
and
me
several
clarify.
of them actually had to be reformed into the shapes I wanted, because
Yeah.
Let me clarify. You're not actually supposed to cut into the person and put the shapes in them, right?
I have had several thoughts about what I could do as far as stretching and taping like a balloon material over the tops of the forms, so that you would literally have to cut into them in order to get to the wooden piece in the form.
Oh, I wanted to actually cut into someone.
Well, yes, but that's okay. It's just sort of going to come up later in your trial. But you have an announced intention at this point. Let's face it, you ever get accused of serial killing, the rest of us are just going to be looking at him like, he was such a not quiet person. He never really kept to himself. As a matter of fact, he more or less advertised these points.
And recorded it.
Yeah, it just made it very clear that actually, yes, he was a serial killer. We thought he was kidding. We should have known better.
No, we shouldn't have known better.
And then he invested in the ice cream van, and we were all like, oh, fuck.
Really? You think he's going to be the one to get the ice cream van out of the three of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Well,
See,
ice
that's-
cream
I
and the
really
candy,
thought it was going to be me.
ice cream or the candy.
No.
truck, one of the
See,
two.
you are going to have the van that's like free candy on the side, rusted out on the bottom, and no windows.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
you.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, he's more fucked up in the head.
Thank you.
You
Clown,
just
clown
have-
suit and ice cream
Yeah,
van? Yeah.
you just have sick thoughts. He's fucked up in the head.
Fair enough.
Whereas I'm the one that would probably have the stainless steel vehicle that was completely sanitizable and full of torture instruments with very fine precision that I could do very cruel things very quietly with in an enclosed environment, preferably soundproofed.
I was looking at a butcher's truck the other day.
Yeah, pretty much like that.
What sort
Yeah.
of games can you play in those?
Lots. It's called my Abductomobile.
It's called You Know Something I Want to Know, and you're going to tell me. The question is how one of these 50 cases has the tool in it that will make you tell me what I want to know.
Pick a number.
Pick a number, any number. Hooray for the games. So, Lube Twister.
Lube Twister.
Lube
One of the
Twister.
best things ever invented. Not the Twister game itself, but lube.
Specifically, the type of lube here is critical here.
I don't know, I think the concept of Twister alone was such a beautiful concept and applicable to so many situations, whether you're talking
Right?
about lube, jello, shower, up the wall. There's so many options available.
Twister bed sheets for king size
Oh, yeah.
beds. I saw a picture the other day of somebody who had
Strap them
painted-
down or people will cheat at that, by the by.
Yes, they will. But the idea of Lube Twister is fantastic. I'm sure that Daddy can weigh in on the consistency of lube, since the last Twister game I saw involved, the guy made a 5-gallon bucket of the snottiest J-Lube I've ever seen in my life.
See, that's the critical part. So if you look at most typical water-based lubricants or even silicone-based lubricant, if it's the pre-made stuff, when you apply a certain amount of pressure, it forces a lot of it away, right? So if you're in a relatively small space, you want to keep the lube and in that area. The problem with most typical lubes is that if you're flopping around playing some Twister or wrestling, 9 times out of 10, the majority of your lube goes flying off the mat and ends up elsewhere, right? So to counter that, you need to invest in a bottle of J-Lube. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with J-Lube was not originally invented as a sexual lubricant. It was invented as a lubricant for veterinary use, right? So when you need to stick your arm up your cow's ass or your horse's ass or jerk your car off or I don't know, whatever else it's used for. That's originally what it was used for until kinky fucks like us got a hold of it because it's cheap. It comes in typically a powdered form that you just add water to and you have instant lubricant. It's wonderful stuff to play games like Twister with. So the trick here is normally this stuff is supposed to be cut like a cup to 5 to 10 gallons worth of water, and it makes, something that is fairly typical lubricant. For Twister, however, I'm of the mind that the thicker, the snottier, the less runny, the better.
Well, you want it
Mostly
to
because I
cling.
don't want it shooting off everywhere.
Yeah, you
right?
want it to
Right.
cling. You don't want it to go
Oh, yeah.
flying.
Yeah,
You don't want it
yeah.
splashing.
You want to be
sliding.
able to stick to the ceiling and slowly ooze
Fuck
down
yes.
onto someone.
Yeah.
I don't want that lube to come off of someone when they stand up and it just sloughs off all over the floor. No, I want it to stick to them. I want them to remember it. I want them to potentially vomit into it because it feels so much like a giant booger mess.
Basically, you want it so thick that they could go to the hotel and do a slip and slide across the carpet.
Yes, all of the above.
Yeah.
So this stuff was so fucking thick that it clung in. It dumped out like a big bucket of snot.
I
didn't
dumped
really-
it. I
yeah.
watched it happen.
Yeah, so you remember like Ghostbusters, Slimer, when
Yeah.
when Bill Murray's character gets nailed by Slimer and it's just like clinging to him. It's all over his body. Yeah, it was that consistency.
Just about.
And so
Not
when,
green,
the,
though.
when the girls that were playing this game started to walk into it, well, first of all, several of them almost took a digger because that shit is slick as hell.
Well, yeah, that's the idea.
Oh, yeah. Like super slick on first contact.
Interesting point for those of you, if you ever get into any sort of vat or swimming pool filled with lube, do not just step in. You will bust your own ass, and not in the fun way. Ease yourself in carefully, preferably on your ass, and then get your bearings.
You heard it right. Ease it into the ass.
Gently but firmly.
Gently but firmly. But yeah, so when they started to actually play this game, this shit was so slick, it clung to the body. They couldn't get any sort of grasp on each other, and they were just flopping around all over the place. But the best part about it was that the lube, for the most part, stayed completely on the twister board.
And on the people.
I do have to say from personal experience that wrestling in water-based lubricant, not as fun as wrestling in silicone-based lubricant.
Or jelly and peanut butter.
Jelly and peanut butter isn't as slick as you would think it would be. It got tacky
So
real
tasty.
fast. It was really tasty, but peanut butter and jelly wrestling, I was digging peanut butter out of my ear for a week.
But on the other hand, though, it does bring up another interesting thought in my demented mind of, because I mentioned slip and slide before. Would it be fun to have a slip and slide gauntlet full of people with single tails and then just have subs shoot across and you just try to tag them as they go?
I think it would be really fun if you had one big burly motherfucker at the very front end of it grabbing onto the person and throwing them down the slip and slide.
I was
covered
thinking
in
it'd be
lube.
great to have that same big burly motherfucker at the very end of the slip and slide bent over with their cornhole to the world, and yet once again you go flying down that fucker at mass speed and you try and plant your dick in the butt.
Oh, but you're not going to be able to stay upright. That's
No,
the
you
thing.
slide on your knees.
Yeah,
Go
but
down on your knees. That's all you need.
You're just as likely to end up face first in that butthole as you are dick first.
And you're saying
That
this like
that
he has a
sounds
problem
equally
with
fun.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is that an issue?
Yeah.
Some part of you is going to end up in that dude's ass.
That is a very good point.
Which, why don't we bounce off of that and,
You might bounce off of it.
And let's just take this in the same direction. Like, let's say the three of us, being the sick fucks that we are, got together and we decided we were going to hold a fun summertime event.
Oh.
A kinky carnival.
Oh, Jesus.
What kind of carnival games would we have to have? Because, I suggested earlier, and I still think it's a fantastic idea, skee ball, but with someone actually strapped to the scoring side, and, with a helmet, because I'm a considerate motherfucker.
You don't want them to lose teeth.
And then, just
Or get concussed.
that way all your scores are basically bounced off of someone else, and, crotch right above the 500-point hole.
Of course.
Just to make sure you're going for those crotch shots. I think that would be fantastic. But what other kinds of games could we have in there?
It's not really a game, but I'm a huge fan of the human ice cream dispenser.
Yeah?
That's at carnivals, right?
I'm not sure where you're going
Well, that's the
with that
thing.
one.
We would have to have some really interesting food vendors. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
that would also be kind of a possibility. But I'm thinking there's got to be something with popping balloons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Single
of
tail
course.
balloon popping.
We have to have a balloon
or
popping
blow
deal.
darts.
Single tail, blow dart, yeah.
And then we have to have one of those strength tests where you hit the thing as hard as you can, try to get it up and ring a bell. Except instead of a bell, there's a guy sitting there and hits him right in the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like the
poor
jackass
bastard.
thing with the dildo up the freaking test of strength thing. See, I was thinking more along the CBT thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get a big
pound him
rubber,
right in the
like
balls.
one of those big inflatable mallets. So you're not throwing too much weight, but then you have to, whack the fucking subby bitch boy in the cock and balls. And the louder he screams, the higher it goes.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
higher
then
you score.
something like pissing in the clown's mouth, except the clowns are all girls and lined up and
Yeah.
locked in at the neck.
Then you got to have a really good, strong stream.
Well, hey, that's part of what the competition is for, man.
Yep.
If you want that stuffed animal, you better have a strong stream.
I was going to say, I would really like to see a marshmallow target shoot, but that's going to require a lot of tarps, and I'm not sure how many people want to shit themselves.
Or like that
Hold
game
on.
where you take a ball and you throw it at the 3 milk bottles. I think it should just be 1 milk bottle balanced on someone's head.
Could we somehow interweave 3 dudes together and have 3 cocks up and you have to hit them like milk bottles?
I'm not putting my cock in that.
No,
Well,
but
the
like,
milk bottle goes down when the erection gets lost.
Oh.
but on the other hand, bobbing for dildos could be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Just like
yeah,
a little
yeah.
kiddie
Yep.
pool filled with water and suction cup dildos stuck to the bottom,
Oh, no.
and then the little prize on the prize number like on the bottom. Like
Actually, just having
Fill
them
the
float.
kiddie pool with lube
Yeah,
and
just
make
let
them go
float.
bobbing and
It's
lube.
actually harder for you to grab them when they're just floating around than if they're in a static position because they're suctioned to the bottom. Now, granted, pulling them off when they're suctioned is difficult. It's just a test of strength. At this
Well, maybe
point.
we can have them both, like side by side. One
Yeah.
free floating, one stuck to the bottom. Like, are you better at your technique for grabbing, or are you better at your technique for pulling?
Yeah.
No, what
dexterity versus strength.
What you got to do is you got to get a deep kiddie pool and suction
And you drown
dildos
your
to
sub.
the bottom.
Wait, I'm bad.
You drown your bottom. No.
You suction a bunch of them to the bottom, so they have to go really deep to go get those. But then you float a bunch of butt plugs around.
You had me at
In
really
the-
deep.
Yes. So either you're bobbing for butt plugs, where they're moving around like apples do, or you're diving for dildos.
Yeah. Well, or one of the other things you could do is have someone kind of up on a chair, up high, maybe like 10 feet off the ground, butt plug inserted.
Okay.
And then butt plug attached to a cord that goes down and is attached to a panel that what you're trying to do is basically get some sort of weights onto that panel, and you win if you pop out the butt plug.
Oh.
I'd just step on it.
See, I would like to see, those dunk tanks?
Yeah.
You
You'd have to
throw-
do something with a dunk tank.
Right, you hit the target, and it dunks the person into a bottle of, or a giant pool
A
of
huge
water.
container of needles.
I would go on a little saw on us now, are you, fucker?
I was thinking like 3 to 4 feet of lube and a bunch of horny guys with the girl on the tank waiting to get dropped down.
Oh no, I was thinking about having the person hanging upside down with a nice long row of anal beads in, and
And then when they pop them, vroom!
have them in a harness, and then when you hit the target, it lets
release.
quick release the harness, so then it starts them like a chainsaw on the way down.
And shit flies everywhere.
Yep.
No, you make sure they're porn star clean. It's fine.
Meh. It's more fun if shit flies everywhere.
Says the German.
Just say, well, and again, it's like with the balloon thing. It's not like you can't have multiple.
Right.
You can have a bunch of dunk tanks. Like, what kind of dunk tank do you want?
The dirty dunk tank. The clean dunk tank. The lube dunk tank.
I like the idea of dropping a girl into a thing half full of lube and like 3 really horny guys just totally gangbang her the second she drops.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine how hard and how carefully you'd be throwing that ball?
There was-
Just for that show, especially if it's a really clear lube so you can see everything.
either that or everybody and their brother is going to buy as many shots as they can until that fucker falls.
Yeah!
Do you get to get in the dunk tank with them?
No.
No.
Well, the problem is, like, it's such a neat idea, but at the same time, there are some people you just don't want to see in that dunk tank. Yeah, you know that. And it's those fuckers that are going to be the ones that are going to be like, wait, I can get into the dunk tank?
No.
$500 worth of tickets because I need to play this fucker till I win.
It's for a good cause.
But that way you could get a really good class of girl because then she could pick the guys to be in the lube with her. And to her, it's like, oh, I lost, but I won.
I get to be airtight.
And
for
everybody
charity.
has a great day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, well, no, what a great fundraiser it would be in the end. Pardon the pun.
Oh, I'll raise some funds in her end.
I'm just thinking there that, or maybe like, a bunch of girls lined up, all with something in their vagina, and you pull it out to find out what prize you won, but you have to pick a girl.
Ooh.
But you never know. It's sort of like the kids' version where it's like, it's just floating ducks. You just pick up a duck, it tells you what you won. Same sort of deal, except it would all be dildos.
So I got a good one in that same vein. You've seen the squirt gun ones.
Yours
where
would
you
be a butt
squirt
plug, I'm
you
sure,
Squirt the clown in the mouth or whatever, and it fills the balloon up, and whoever pops the balloon first.
I'll squirt you in
You
the
could
mouth.
do the same thing, but instead you've got a bunch of chicks or whoever bent over with their butthole fully agape, pointing at you, and you squirt them in the butthole with a bunch of water. And
Why water?
you win, or you lube, piss, take your pick. Pee would be kind of fun. Nonetheless, the goal is to fill their buttholes either to the point where it comes splashing out, or for the truly adventurous, they start puking water out their mouth. and then whoever gets them to puke water out wins.
I can say from personal experience, shoving a anal speculum into someone's butt and then trying to pee in it, it doesn't stay real well.
What about a pig hole?
That's going to need to be a pretty big pig hole.
Huge.
Yeah.
Master Series.
Yeah.
It's not the size that counts, it's what you do with it.
So
and if you
fuck
make it far enough away, so it's a challenge, it doesn't have to hold that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just
then
getting
it's
some in
more
there.
about targeting than it is about
Yep.
actual filling.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Now, what sort of prizes would we have in these booths when you won?
Dick suckers. Of course they have to be dick suckers. Dick suckers are delicious.
Oh! I was going somewhere else when you said,
I admit, right
I
until you
can
said
win a
that,
dick sucker? Yes! I will play these games.
Yeah, I don't know. I can think of a couple people you'd probably be like, yeah, no, but not that one.
That one's broken.
I don't want that prize.
And
I
that
don't
would be
want
the,
prize.
and those would be the people, you know it, that would be like, I volunteer as tribute. I will be the dick sucker.
Nope, pass. Can I trade this one in for a better one?
This dick
But no,
sucker smells
penis-shaped
like
lollipops or freezer pops, I can totally understand. No,
Yeah.
that would work out real well.
cabbage. Anything. I mean, sex toys. Take your pick. Anything kinky or sexy related would be perfectly fine as a toy.
Now we've definitely gotten on the idea of carnival games.
Yep. What other fucked up shit can you do?
If there was such a thing as a kinky Olympic competition, what kinds of kinky Olympics would there be?
Dildo javelin throw.
Yeah, totally.
Dildo javelin throw,
Yep.
where you take that 18-inch double dong just
Yep.
wobbling around and
Oh, yeah.
you huck that fucker?
You either see who can throw it the furthest, or again, you have a target at the end of the walkway. That happens to be somebody bent over, spreading and showing their glorious hole, and you whip the dildo double dong at their butt, and whoever
You
can
also
land
have
it in the
testicle
hole-
shot put.
Testicle shot
I
put.
had
How does that
suggested-
work? How does that work?
How does that work?
I don't know. How does
Let
that
me
work?
tell you how it worked great. No, instead of just one ball, you've got two. And then you throw it as far as you can, preferably at any number of targets.
So you're not actually throwing your balls.
No.
I was gonna say I'd win over you. Though. Mine stretch a lot further.
Yeah, but that kickback is it's gonna be a son of a bitch.
Well, and there we go with target shooting. Target shooting could work too for the carnival idea. Just to have someone with a parachute that has a target on it.
Oh, hey, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. That way you kind of bring in some airsoft into it.
Other kinky Olympic games. What else is there?
I had suggested for the naked cornhole before we had started playing that we were just going to have two people bent over and we were going to get a bunch of dildos and throw them at the butts. But the people I was playing with really wanted to play with beanbags.
Yeah.
They didn't want gravel covered dildos going in their butts.
Also, I don't think it's really gonna go in a butt. I don't think
I
the
bet it
physics
will.
is behind
I
it.
will try hard.
Well, that's something
Real
where
hard.
roller fucking could come in instead of figure skating. You'd have roller fucking, but you'd have to do it in a really elegant display.
Now, would there be doubles and singles roller fucking?
And the Russians would have an automatic advantage.
How would you have singles roller fucking? Just
Yeah.
Roller masturbating.
Yeah.
masturbate on rollerblades. And he does a 360 while still playing with his balls. And the judges.
He scores a perfect 69.
Until the one guy shows up and starts skating around and then goes right into autofellatio, and then at that point you're like, fuck it, he just won.
Yep, perfect 10 right there. Still staying on his feet, rolling around while sucking his own dick. Yep.
Well, and then, when we're talking about kinky gaming, like, you have to get into some really, like, video gaming.
Yeah.
Video gaming. We talked about that a little bit, but one of the best ones I ever saw when I was with Madtown Beatdown at one of their parties. Pretty sure you guys were there for this, too. When they did Rock Band with
Yes.
Fellatio.
Yes.
They were blowing the lead singer, and he had to try to keep up with the song anyway.
Yep. Yeah, the Japanese recently came out with a game show very much like that. Where the contestants getting jerked off or blown by some naughty little nurse while trying to sing karaoke, and they have to, make it all the way through without coming. Good times.
Do they have to make it all the way through without coming, or do they just have to be able to continue singing the song?
Well,
See, technically with Beatdown, they just had to be able to continue singing the song.
So you just plan your climax with the high note. It's fine.
Exactly.
oh yeah.
What song was it?
I don't know, but I could sing
Freebird.
some. I could definitely sing some Queen while getting blown.
Freebird.
Well, yeah, they have all the
Bohemian
high notes in
Rhapsody.
there.
You can't sing.
I really can't.
Everyone can sing. He just
He
can't
means
sing
gargle.
well.
I'm not saying I'm going to be on key or anything.
The person blowing is not supposed to be the one singing, though.
Although that might feel pretty good.
Right? True.
Although I will say, I think it was on Pinterest recently, I saw that someone put up this great thing. It was an open refrigerator, and there were these 3 bottles of water. And there's a picture of the little mannequin thing from Saw, and it said, "I want to play a game." 2 of these bottles have been laced heavily with a very powerful laxative. 1 of these bottles is safe to drink. Will you risk destroying your asshole, or will you die of thirst?
Oh,
Let the games begin.
that would be great. A crapshoot of regular gummy bears
A literal
and Haribo
crapshoot.
sugar-free gummy bears.
that in and
Somebody's
of
gonna
itself
shit
is a game.
themselves.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's gonna shit themselves, and everybody else is gonna be okay.
It's like a weird version of Russian roulette. You have
Yeah.
6 little bowls.
Gummy bear
5
roulette.
of them are real.
So
gummy
let's clarify,
bears.
for those of you who have not heard about this yet, Haribo,
The 5-pound
the
challenge.
candy company, makes a sugar-free gummy bear out there that this sweetener that they put in it, it's not sugar, it's not anything that you've run into in most of the candy that you've ever eaten, is not very agreeable to the human digestive system. So there's this thing called the Haribo Sugar-Free Gummy Bear 5-pound challenge. They effectively come in like a 5-pound bag of sugar-free gummy bears. And the challenge is to eat a bunch of these things and then suffer the consequences and then write about it. So if you get a chance to, go check out Amazon.com or one of the other sites where you can buy this shit on and go read some of the reviews because they're fucking hysterical.
Well,
but in that note, you could definitely use those as either a predicament bondage scene or use them in one of the games that you're playing by feeding your potential willing participants a bunch of sugar-free gummy bears and see how long they can hold it in.
We already know someone who has done this challenge. The falafel has done this challenge.
Oh, poor falafel.
And
Yep.
he said that by the second day afterwards, he was literally in tears because he had
Second
shit
day?
himself so badly over the last 2 days.
How
'Cause,
many did he eat?
about 2 to 3 pounds.
Oh,
5 pound.
most people that have tried this challenge make it through about 20 to 25 gummy bears on average.
This is
Not
the same guy
3
who
pounds.
wanted to clear himself out. So what was that shit you were talking about before?
lightly?
Go
Go
lightly.
lightly. Yeah, he drank a bottle
Yeah.
while we were out with him, and he's
Willingly?
like, yeah,
Yeah.
because he wanted to clear himself out. So he drank a bottle,
Yep.
and we were on our way home, and he's like,
There's better ways to make yourself porn star clean.
it was a half an hour drive, and seriously, like halfway through, 15 minutes in, he's like, well, I don't feel anything yet. I think I'm going to try the other bottle. And we're like, no.
No, no.
And he drank the other bottle, and I'm like, you are going to pay for this one. We weren't even 5 minutes away from my house when he was like, can we just stop at the grocery store? And I'm like, nope. If you're going to leave us stuck somewhere, it's going to be our house. You go destroy those toilets. And he did.
Oh my god. Now you should have made him a nice mixer of sugar-free gummy bears with Go Lightly.
If we had them, yes. Even at that point, he was talking about doing the gummy bear challenge.
You don't need to go lightly if you have the gummy bears.
Or vice versa, but still, some people.
No, I think you should have them both.
Oh, that poor
Just
colon.
to make sure.
That poor colon. There's not going to be any intestinal lining left.
Yeah.
It's going to all vacate.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then you also have other fun things you can do. Like they have a Russian roulette pistol made of plastic, specifically designed so that it only has one chamber that does anything, and you put it in your mouth, and if you pull the trigger, you get the shot. And you just play Russian roulette that way. In theory, you don't have to put alcohol in there. You could put high-powered laxatives.
Or cum.
Honestly, when you're talking about
Or piss. I mean, you're German or shit.
Or shit.
if you're
If
talking
it's liquid
about
enough.
if you're talking about Russian roulette, I think fart jar roulette would be fucking phenomenal.
What's fart jar roulette?
Explain it.
Fart jar roulette is when you take 6 or more or fewer, depending on how many participants you have, depending on how sadistic you want to be, identical glass mason jars. Now, some people might think it's an urban legend as to whether you can fart in a jar and it will stay there. No, it is not an urban legend. I have proven it. You can fart into a jar and it will stay there. In fact, you can fart into a jar multiple times and it will stay there as long as you're... Well, thank you, Lord, for that info.
Where was the jar when I needed it?
I don't know. But what you would do is you would take several identical jars. This requires either drinking a lot of moonshine or eating a lot of pickles.
Or you can just go to the canning section of the grocery store and go get some jars and lids.
Fuck that noise. That's
Why?
ruining all the fun.
Because
Why?
if you need to do this shit on the fly,
Okay,
you may not have time to drink 6 jars of moonshine or eat 6 jars of pickles.
Fair enough.
That's why you make your.
And you want to make sure they're identical. So
Right.
it would literally have to be 6 of the exact same thing.
Completely identical, so you cannot tell them apart. And you essentially fill one jar with farts, trying not to take a shit in it, because that will make it obvious as to which one it is.
And don't let Raven do this, or it will actually start to melt the jar.
I have not melted any glass jars, thank you very much. But
Today.
But then you can either take the 6 people and have everybody grab a jar, and then you can play the game of, well, I don't trust the jar that I have, I'll trade with you, if you're willing to trade. Or you could just put 6 jars on a Lazy Susan and spin the motherfucker like spin the bottle and everybody take one. But, fart jar roulette, somebody is probably going to vomit, and if there's any sympathetic pukers around, you're probably going to get several. But I think it would be a really fun carnival game to...
At least you have a jar to puke in.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Right?
and
I mean,
just...
crack it open, stick your nose in it, and then if you have to vomit, just fill the jar up. We'll use it again next time.
And whoever the last one is to vomit has to drink them all.
Oh, it's not like Ookie Cookie. It's not like Ookie Cookie. Oh, hey, Ookie Cookie would be a fun one, wouldn't it?
Cookie,
Yep.
cookie.
That's a classic game. Ookie Cookie goes back years.
Right?
Like, a lot of years.
I remember hearing about it when I was in middle school.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which was like 10 years ago.
Hey, just because I act 12 doesn't mean I am 12.
True.
You are
So
the youngest
Ookie
person
Cookie-
at this table, though.
Yeah,
Ookie Cookie,
for those that
the-
don't know.
For the listeners, is a game in which you place a cookie or some other delectable object in the middle.
Ice the
And-
brownie.
Ice the brownie. Yep, there's a bunch of variants on it. So you stick an edible in the
Fill it with
the
fudge.
middle of a room, and you have a bunch of people. Typically, classically, it's a group of guys, but it could be girls, could be guys and girls.
2 girls, 1
Nonetheless,
cookie.
Anybody that can spray ejaculate.
Exactly, and everybody proceeds to start jacking off. And the goal of the game is to not be the last person to come, because the last person to come gets to eat the cookie.
Yep.
Delicious. Thus why it's called Ookie Cookie.
Or brownie or cake or
Or
whatever.
is the brownie, or, yeah.
There's also the martini version.
Now, of course...
There's a martini version?
Yeah, you all jerk off into a martini glass, last person drinks it.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
With or
Oh,
without
yeah.
olives, depending on your personal taste.
I was gonna say
Dip the
there's
balls in first.
no confections involved in that one. I'm less inclined.
That's not what I've heard, but alright.
I only play the game for the cookie.
But then again, you never actually contradicted the whole melting the jar thing. So
The
anyway,
downside is that if you run into, say, cum sluts who absolutely love eating or drinking a whole shit ton of cum,
They're not even gonna touch themselves. They're just
No.
gonna wait for everybody else
Yeah.
to finish.
they might get too excited though, just thinking about all that cum in the cookie.
and how many times has that happened to you?
At least 3.
I don't believe you. I think you're way
bad at
under-exaggerating
math.
this. But
So, how about that Vietnamese shame wheel?
how about it? That was always a fantastic idea I had, and I always wanted to do for kind of like a fundraiser. I thought it'd be awesome to do a fundraiser Kinky game show, and I wanted it to be based off the Vietnamese shame wheel.
What's the Vietnamese shame wheel?
Vietnamese shame whale was actually something brought up in a sitcom that was never actually, it is never a thing for real. It was just a guy was asked to create a sex dungeon, and he did. And then when he was showing them around the sex dungeon, they asked, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, that's the Vietnamese shame whale." And he's like, "What's the Vietnamese shame whale?" "Oh, you're not ready." And I'm like, I bet we could think some interesting things to put on a Vietnamese shame wheel.
Oh yeah, I've played the Wheel of Torture before at a local event, and
Wheel of torture!
So what's your version of the Wheel of Torture? Because I've seen several variants of it.
well, I wasn't the one orchestrating this one.
Well, we should fix that next time.
It was fairly tame for the Wheel of Torture that I was a participant of.
Well, what kind of stuff was on there?
Well, there was a cookie on there.
So you're talking about the version where you write stuff on the wheel and you make them spin it, and whatever gets spun, that gets done to them?
Right, it's kind of like Wheel of Fortune.
Because there's also a version of the Wheel of Torture where it's a human-sized wheel that you put people on.
Oh, I would love to play that one. I will spin a bitch until she vomits.
Yeah.
It's Catherine Wheel.
You can also, or you can also play a variant there of it where you've got a really large wheel that you can put multiple people on, and you spin the Wheel of Torture, the little tiny one that says what gets done, and you spin the big one that has all the people on it. And whatever one it lands on for the people, and the one that lands on the little mini torture wheel is what you do to the person.
Now, but what would be on the torture wheel itself? What kind of tortures? I mean, like you said, the one you were at was kind of tame.
Well,
what did you want to see on there?
It was a public event, so you couldn't get like raunchy or naked. So, yeah,
ish.
But I would really like to see some pretty torturous shit on an actual wheel of torture. Well, like hot sauce enema.
Mm-hmm.
You're mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, no duh. Go ahead, spin that wheel. I've got a 2-quart enema bag full of Tabasco sauce for you.
Hypo needles through the fingertips.
Ooh.
And I'm not talking the short ways, I'm talking the long way into the fingertip.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yep. That's tingly feeling.
Testicles or labia, or not testicles, scrotum or labia stapled to a board.
Stapled to the thighs.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think that's double right there. Mm-hmm. Industrial stapler, and you're going into the bits and into their thigh.
Yeah.
Well, and then you got other fun things like violated with vegetables.
Yep.
Yeah, but
What in the butt?
Oh, what in the butt?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Yeah.
We can talk about that in a bit, but yeah, other horrible things you do to people. Yeah, creamed corn in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
How is that terrible?
He said vegetables.
Yeah, no, see, that's the thing. I'd rather shove a corn cob up.
Yeah, corn cob.
How do you think you get all the creamed corn in there?
Ah! You open them up a little bit, you pour the can of cream corn in there, and then you cram the cob in the end to cork them off.
Yeah. You gotta plunger it in there somehow.
Right?
Yep. Then you make them walk around the rest of the evening and tell them not to spill a drop.
Oh. Speaking of corking off butts, I really want to do some marshmallow target shooting.
Slingshot?
No, out of a butt.
Oh, you want to?
No, he wants to put the marshmallow in the butt and then have them shoot at things.
Yes, but there's more to it than that.
Like Kinky siege engines, you just sort of roll them around and shoot at each other.
What's going to be your propellant?
What do you think?
Anus.
No, like there's a liquid behind it, or is it simply muscular? Or...
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to explain that.
Give him
pneumatic or hydraulic.
Come on, I'm excited about this.
Probably hydraulic, because what you're going to do is you're going to mix
liquid.
Going to mix milk and molasses and put that in the butt. The sugar in the molasses makes the bacteria create massive amounts of gas, and the milk does really interesting things to the inside of butts anyway. But you put the milk and molasses in there, and then you take those nice, sizable campfire marshmallows that are about the same size around as a can, and you roll it up nice and tight and shove it in the end, the butt, and then you just kind of wait, because that will eventually continue to pressurize the person.
Pneumatic.
So it is pneumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's liquid in there. It's pneumatic and hydraulic.
The liquid produces the gas.
Yes.
But the gas is the actual propellant, not the liquid.
Let's get technical.
No, the discomfort is the propellant, because they'll eventually want that shit to come out.
See, I was thinking if it was a hydraulic powered ass cannon, then that would just be a night of Guinness and bad Mexican food.
Yeah. But no, and then you kind of line them up like war cannons and, shoot targets. I think that could work.
Right?
Oh, I feel like there's a lot of poop getting everywhere.
Fire in the hole!
Fire from the hole.
Are you going to clean them out first so that it's just milk and junk comes back out? Or are you just going to, throw the lot
dice
in with the poops and maybe they'll have a whole bunch
Well,
of poops
that's why you're shooting at targets, not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a lot of dexterizing.
No, you just do it outside.
There's many things you can get away by doing it out in nature.
Yeah, but you gotta hose that down. You can't just leave that all over the
No.
Well, yeah, and we can stylize this shit. We can all dress up in armor, have them on carts, and roll them around like war machines, and actually
dress up like a
shoot some
pony.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
Night on the pony.
Yeah.
I would totally have a
I would
chariot
shoot
with
an
one
ass
aimed
cannon
out
off
each
of a
side.
pony. I will volunteer for Ass Cannon Hood if I get to shoot it off of the pony.
The pony doesn't want to get covered in shit.
No, but I think you would look totally badass riding Raven and just kind of rearing him up and saying, fire! And then all the marshmallows just start shooting.
Fires and missiles.
At a castle with targets all over it.
Now, would you find it more
You can wear a
entertaining?
raincoat.
Would you find it more entertaining
He
to
never
see
does.
one giant marshmallow, the campfire-sized ones, or a whole handful of the mini marshmallows? Because then it's like
An
rocket
SMG?
launcher versus shotgun.
Yeah, like, do you want the spray and pray or do you want some target shooting here?
Because I don't think you could get them to fire one by one, so there's no SMG there. But if you got the whole handful of mini ones to fire at once, it's definitely like a shotgun.
Yeah, but on the
blast.
other hand, if there's that much moisture in there, they might just all stick together into one glob
I
anyway.
got
It's
a better way to
possibility.
do it. You put one of the
Put a choke in there.
You put one of the larger marshmallows in first, not the
Uh-huh.
huge ones, but the regular sized marshmallows. You push that in first, to act as the backstop.
The wad.
Then and then you pack the minis in.
Same problem though with the moisture. They might just stick together, and you may just have one long bullet-shaped wad that just launches out.
just-
That's fine too.
have- I
I mean,
have
a
a feeling
50
there's
caliber
not much launching
marshmallow.
if it's
Just
that size,
cornstarch
it's like
the
pooping.
inside of their colon first, and you're good to go.
Oh, there
Now,
you
if
go.
you had a bunch of plastic
That'll
marbles, though, you could make that work.
Ooh.
Because then they're not going to stick together, and they will fire separately.
Yep. Marshmallow first as the
Yeah,
wad,
as the plug.
and then a bunch of
Marbles, and then boom!
Yeah,
You're going to have some that are going to stick to the marshmallow, and basically what you're going to have is a shotgun blast, followed by a rocket launched. Or maybe a grenade, depending on how you want to see it.
Eh.
yeah, it's the underside
I will
grenade.
do this.
Shrapnel
I will
grenade.
do this if I can shoot it off the pony. I'm
Well,
afraid of the marbles, however. Like, maybe they'll get lost
well,
up
what
there.
if she shoots it off the pony, but from the typical riding position, so that basically you just have to turn around, face the opposite direction, and
As
she
long-
just launches out behind you.
As long as she's posting and I have a tarp across my butt, I guess. But
Does the pony get this in its butt too?
No, I
No.
don't.
These
No,
ponies
you don't
like
get a
to
tarp.
poop.
I'm gonna get shit all over myself. You are too.
I don't know. We could get like one of those blue tarps and kind of
It's
paint it
just
up
poop, it
so it
washes
looks like
off.
The
heraldry.
difference between you
know.
getting your shit all over yourself and me getting your shit all over myself is way different.
Whatever, it'll be fine. We can.
How about you can shit on him if he can shit on you?
Sounds fair in my book.
Yeah.
No.
Well, then there you go. He gets a tarp.
You can have dueling bungholes.
He doesn't get a tarp.
Dueling
Congratulations, we have solved this one.
Nope.
Tomorrow in marriage counseling.
I do not consent to non to
Or hey, you know, depending on how fast it goes, could be used for malted milk balls too.
Cool. Oh.
If you freeze them first so they don't melt as fast.
Well,
Uh-huh.
they'll melt super fast. They're going in a butthole.
Chocolate
It's
melts
really
off,
warm
who
in
cares?
there.
Well, what if you freeze the marshmallow first?
Oh.
Wow.
That way it'll cool down the ass as it goes through. Then you
Might
still
as
have
well
the
just
moment.
use an ice cube.
I don't consent to that either. I don't consent to the simulation of that.
How are you doing? Feeling frigid? You know?
Like everything's all slammed
How did
shut.
this ice hole get stuck to your ice hole?
You fargen ice hole.
You're an ice hole.
It would be an ice.
How did this ice hole get stuck to your colon?
Well, malted milk balls. That's how.
Frozen malted milk balls.
The best kind.
So, we've covered a Vietnamese torture wheel.
Yeah.
Not really. Like, I'm still confused. What would
What?
be on the Vietnamese torture wheel?
Yeah.
What
no,
could
we never
be on the
We
torture
never actually
wheel?
defined it. We just
We're like
talked about it at
in
a
the
high
butt,
level.
hot sauce enema, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
we you know, that's only like 2-3 things we've actually discussed, and
But
there
that's
should
it?
be like at least 16 things.
That's
on
all
that
your
wheel.
Vietnamese torture wheel is just a standard torture wheel. What makes it Vietnamese?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a really good question.
I want to know.
I
what
feel like
makes
the
it
person
Vietnamese
should be
torture
wearing a
wheel.
rice hat, you know, just to make sure.
Really, come on, that's lame. I want to know why it's Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Because it involves using parts of a dog to cook.
Okay. That,
Well, that's a
bamboo
better,
shoots under the fingernails.
That's a better answer.
You can
Ooh,
totally
hey,
rock
that's a
that.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure. I mean,
But not to mention that, you know, I feel like the Vietnamese shame wheel shouldn't be just something that's like, okay, come on up, let's spin the wheel. I feel like there should be like a trivia game show that leads to the shame wheel.
Yeah.
And then to prizes, if you do what's on the shame wheel.
yeah.
Oh, I always thought
Is
Kinky.
the show called Wong Wei?
I always
Two
thought,
Wongs don't make a white.
I always thought that Kinky Jeopardy would be a really good time.
Well, yeah, and that's why I'm like
Hells
Kinky
yeah.
Jeopardy, and then Vietnamese shame wheel, then prizes.
So what does Double Jeopardy get you if you get it wrong?
Oh, double the
2
penalty.
dicks in the ass.
Sweet.
You get started like a chainsaw from both ends.
No, you just you have the Kinky quiz show. One with the highest points gets to spin the shame wheel, and then they get shown this beautiful prize set up. Like, you want the prizes? Yeah, do what's on the shame wheel. Oh, you don't want to do the shame wheel? Well, then you don't get the prizes. Who's the runner up?
Well, why is
Spin again?
Why is it the winner that gets to spin the wheel? You should make the loser spin the wheel.
Because that's how you get the prizes, by doing what's on the shame wheel.
But you
more
give
make a deal than
you give the loser the option that, oh, you're losing, you could spin the shame wheel and do something on there and get a bunch of points to get back in the lead.
or you get
Yeah.
proper fucked.
You get proper fucked?
And then get lots
And
of
how is it? What's the difference between proper fucked and improper fucked in a game show?
It's sort of like the difference between indecent and decent. If it's in hard, and it's in long, and it's in firm, and it's in all the way, then it's indecent.
I was just thinking, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy, pow!
Oh, the poor microphone.
Oh, the whammies.
Whack-a-mole.
That was a really
Oh.
fun game to watch.
Whack-a-mole with penises.
Yeah.
Whack-a-mole with
You
penis.
should totally have a penis
Actually,
whack-a-mole.
whack-a-mole with a glory hole and penises.
Oh.
Glory hole.
You get a bunch of dudes, or you could have girls, whatever the case may be, and they randomly.
Wouldn't that
stick
be a beaver
things-
hunt?
Yeah, it would be a beaver hunt, and you randomly stick things out of the random holes in the glory hole, and you got to whack them with a mallet.
Oh, that sounds unpleasant.
Oh, we should have a shooting
I wanna
range. We should have a shooting range similar to a gun range where you're only allowed so many shots at each target, but have a whole bunch of beavers set up, and then have a dildo launcher, and you only get 2 shots at each one.
Well, I don't know. At that point, you're kind of getting into like the old American Gladiators.
Yeah.
Which I think is not a bad place to be. I'm just saying, screw the tennis ball, shoot dildos at people.
Right.
See, I'm trying to. I've been thinking this entire so long. I'm an old school Nintendo gamer,
Oh.
and so I'm thinking Duck Hunt, right? But in the kinky version of it, how would we make this into?
Shoot dildos!
How would we make this into Cuck Hunt?
Oh. Jeez.
I'm just thinking Raven could be the little dog that pops up laughing at you.
That's totally...
Yeah, but everybody wants to shoot that fucker.
And
Well,
you
that's
should
why
be
you just-
allowed to in this one.
You pop up, you laugh, you duck before you get shot.
Yep. So I was thinking, like,
Duck Hunt.
if you've got like a bull and his girl, he could be fucking the girl, and then when the cuck happens to go running across the area, the bull pulls out and has to shoot the cuck. Is that like Cuck Hunt? I mean, kind of.
It could be. Kind of a little. I don't know.
Well,
It's a stretch.
I think Cunt Hunt would be a lot of fun if you were to
Shooting
hang them,
vaginas with dildos!
right?
Winning!
But if you were to set a bunch of them up in different suspension heights in a really large area, and then of course you were only allowed to shoot within the parameters, but then people would lift them up and let them go so they'd swing in and then swing back out of the parameter.
Moving target.
Right?
Oh, that'd make it harder.
I'd actually want to be able to throw the dildo at that point, because I don't think I could have any type of dildo
Look, can you imagine
projection
like
device.
a dildo, a double-headed dildo, but weighted like a throwing knife? So you just
Yeah.
dildo ninja.
I'd throw it at the person that was swinging the person. Why would like,
Quit swinging my
quit
target!
swinging my target, bitch? Wham! That's easier.
She moving, you not. You easy, bitch.
How did you get this concussion, sir? Well,
I took a double-handed dong to the
double-headed
head.
throwing dildo.
Swallow, pet, swallow.
Oh, simulated gargling. Oh, take it. Oh, there you go.
There was a little bit
Is
of
it-
extra air in my mouth and I
yeah.
couldn't swallow it, so I had to...
Almost had
I-
the deep throat spits
almost
there.
had to
I would really
just
want it
throw
to be
in.
one of those double-ended fist dildos.
Oh, fuck yeah.
At that point, so you just got these 2 fists flying end over end. Puts a whole new meaning to punched in the dick.
Wait, do those exist?
ew.
Double-ended fisting
Yes.
dildos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never
Actually,
seen
most
one.
of them are curved in a U shape so that you can get both holes.
Yeah, and a lot of them have 2 different hands on them. One of them's the
Fist.
duckbill, and
Duck
then
bill.
one of them's the Tito. So
They also make them with feet instead of fists. Just throwing that out there.
Oh boy. I mean,
Kick you in the dick.
Not all of us get the German catalog,
I'm
but
not
all right.
really sure why I'm surprised. I shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be.
I mean, they make ones that are even real, like Griffin and...
Well, and we can do like a version of this. Like I know you've done some interesting versions of paintballing.
Oh yeah.
So we could do paintballing as a duck hunt kind of deal.
Oh yeah, it's great to have them. I know that personally, I've been the target at a paintball range where I would run back and forth, and every time I'd get hit, I'd yell "ding" and turn 180 degrees and go the other direction. I was purple for weeks, as well as I've been the one shooting, where it was kind of like a trap shooting, I guess. Or they were ducking behind trees and running back and forth, and you never knew which one was going to pop out when.
But how do you make this kinky?
Well, most of the time you were naked, or at least...
Or if you want to make it... So, that's just naked.
Naked hurts so bad.
Naked is fine, but naked's boring. Remember, naked is kind of boring for those of us in the kink world. So it'd be better if you involve maybe a little bit of bondage. Mm-hmm. So the bitch is naked... And you've hogtied her, and she has to flop across the ground while you're shooting at her with paintballs.
Or you just she has no fighting chance.
Or you just you chicken wing one of her legs so that she's got to hop around on one leg, and you send her off into the woods.
No, I'm thinking hands tied behind the back. Hands tied behind the back. Let him run free. That way, there's a challenge there because she can move.
Yeah.
The balance is still going to be slightly off because you're used to gaining your balance with your arms, so it's going to throw the balance off. It's going to make them wobbly a bit, but at least they'll be able to fucking run.
No, what you do is you set it up like the old submarine game where you'd have to shoot missiles at your targets. The ones closer to you move a lot faster, and the ones further away from you move a lot slower. So
that's where you start cycling them. The ones closest to you, you start off, and then as they start getting tired, you start moving them back and bring in new ones.
Or
so
the
that
ones
you end up with
legs.
really tired ones in the back. They're just kind of like walking across, like fuck this.
Oh, the fire ones, I just put. That's where I put my amputees.
I was gonna say, at 100 feet, you make the one-person pogo stick on one leg. They can still move enough that.
Well, you can hobble them at the knees and just watch them. Blah, 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 blah.
Or
you give them a crutch.
You do 3 layers of people. Midgets in front because they're fast and hard to hit. Normal people in the second row because they're moving at the normal pace. And then the third one is where you put all the amputees because they're all slow.
Not all amputees are slow. Some of them have
they
wheels.
are if they have no legs.
Some of them have wheels.
That's cheating.
No, that's just ensuring that they travel on a level
you really
track.
are a douche.
You're just now figuring this out.
No, but sometimes I'm struck with the douchiest doucheness of it all.
And amazingly enough, he still has pants on.
What?
Need me to dive in?
No.
I'll clean you out.
You wouldn't know what to do with that.
Kegel exercises. Instead of hoop hoop rast,
Yeah.
you douche a bunch of them and make them
Hold it
Kegel
in.
exercises, and the last person holding it in.
Sure.
Oh, I'll win.
I mean, we haven't even talked about simple things like ping pong ball
got mad
games
Kegels.
with the vagina.
Oh, single tail tic tac toe.
Yeah. I really want someone on the other side of a ping pong table shooting ping pong balls at me while I have a paddle knocking them back at them. If I can hit you in the clit after you shoot that ping pong out of your vagina at me, I win.
It's 100 points if you can actually get the ping pong ball back in.
Well, but
that's
you
like
could
a
also
million
do
points.
a more large scale version of that
Bowling balls?
where you've
This is
got,
gonna hurt.
you got a tennis ball launcher launching tennis balls at you, and then you got to hit them back.
With your
But
penis?
Both sides of the tennis ball launcher are women lined up.
Oh, hey.
Does he have to use his penis to hit the tennis ball?
No,
Yes.
Why?
Strap a racket to my dick?
because
No,
he's,
just use your
Yes.
penis. There's
because
enough
he's
weight
not
in
Bruce
there.
Lee.
All of that.
Bruce Lee
enough
could have pulled
weight
that
in
shit
there.
off, but I don't know if you've seen that video they have online now of Bruce Lee playing ping pong with nunchucks
Nah.
and kicking everyone's ass to the point where he was going up against 2 guys. He had nunchucks, they had ping pong paddles. He kicked their asses hard. But I'm just saying, something like that where, yeah, you deflect the balls back, but you have human targets to hit. And you get points for hitting targets.
Right? There's always points involved.
I'm just saying, some of these games
Not
can be a
always
lot
prizes.
of fun to run.
Yeah, they would.
No, a certain number of points, you get a little stuffed animal. Congratulations. Just remember the basic law of that for carnivals. whatever prize you give out has to be only a fraction of the cost of what it costs to play the game.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about a lot of carnival games and
Perversions.
Filth.
Shame wheels.
Shame wheels. Are there any... So, there's the act of taking a game and adding a kinky aspect to it.
Yes.
And then there's the sort of the flip side, as I see it, which is taking your typical kink activity, whatever that may be,
and making a
game out of it, right? Are there kink activities or kink scenes that you have participated in that you have made a game out of it?
Well, it's always a bit of a game in my mind, but I'm kind of a sick fuck.
Like, I can think of
that's where interrogation gets real fun, or it becomes,
Sure.
What can I do to you to make you tell me what I want to know? It's sort of like picking a lock. And every now and again you just gotta kick the door and say fuck it, but But no, I've done, let's see, the one thing that comes to mind was I had a couple of subs both kind of vying for attention, and we're like, fine, let's make a competition out of it. Let's start having them bet against each other. And they did. And we kept score, and it was like, oh yeah, I can take 5 hits with a single tail. Oh yeah, I can take 6. And they just kept upping each other until finally it was like, can you beat that? No. Alright, sold. And do whatever to the person that bet highest. And just let them keep going like that and let them score points.
Chopsticks in the butt.
Glow sticks.
Chopsticks, glow sticks, whatever.
Yep, potato.
They can also be turned into wonderful clamps.
Yes, they can. But on that note, we are going to wrap up this episode of Kinky Sex Games on LSDR. I hope that you all had fun, and I hope we've inspired your next outing in the woods or camp out to play some...
Well, and if you need any details or you have any ideas you want to share, why don't you just go ahead and get a hold of us?
Oh, we've got plenty of ideas.
Oh, yes.
Lots of them.
If you have questions, concerns, or any other kinky sex games you might want to suggest, feel free to write us at lordsirdaddyradio@gmail.com or throw it up on our Twitter page or Facebook. We're more than welcome.
Or our Fat Life group. We have a Fat Life group.
We do.
We can be found.
We are findable.
So, hopefully you've enjoyed this, and we will see you next time.
I'm the Lord.
I'm Sir.
And I'm Daddy.
And we are LSD Radio. Happy hunting.
Open.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming, and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a beat poet. Name your price. A tool, an idea, an inspiration to do more than just say what you want to pay. Oh no, but to see the options that could fit your budget. Steve, enough bongos.
Find car insurance that fits your budget at Progressive.com.
Makes me want to dance. Steve!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Price and coverage match limited by state law.